Peach, where is he, man? We're supposed to start like 5 minutes ago. Peach. Oh my God. What the?
Are we gonna do the show or what? You ready?
Welcome to Court Cousins. Two cousins sharing laughs and talking the team they love, the Orlando Magic. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to episode 9 of Court Cousins. My name is Kyle. I'm joined, as always, by my cousin, my co-host, Jason the Pich. We are recording on Friday, December 24th, the eve of Christmas today. And we've got a great show for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through the interwebs for our social media roundup. Pich will give us a rundown of the recent games in What I Learned. We have a special stocking stuffer edition of Fill in the Blank. Then Pich will dive into his treasure trove for Magic the Card Gathering. And we'll finish it out with Court Cousins Championship, where we'll each give each other a couple wagers for the set of games coming up to see who takes home the Court Cousins Championship belt. But before all that fun time, let's check in. How you doing, Pich, for our ROLO Check In today?
Hey, sir. First off, just want to say this is such a festive area that I'm in right now. People can't see there's a huge tree over here to my left. Can't even see the base of it. It's surrounded by gifts and presents, and it is a great time here. But it leads into my ROLO check-in. I decided to take a picture of Rolo with his brother Brooke. Here shown when they played on the Bucks together, but I chose it because they're together, they're smiling, and you recently came on an episode of my podcast, the Peachcast, and we talked about a lot of stuff, but we talked about being kind of like brothers because we're both only children. So that's the kind of vibe that I'm having right now because I'm here with you spending the holidays, and it's a lot of fun. So big smiles from me. And there we are pictured together. You can probably put our faces right on these logos.
Oh, we got to do that for a Christmas card or something. You know, those annoying Christmas cards that families send to each other? That's us.
I like
right
those
there.
Christmas cards and they come.
Okay.
There's usually a check.
All right. I'm feeling the season's tidings having you in town, Pich. I don't think we've ever celebrated a Christmas together. I was trying to think about
but you were real young. I've definitely come to Bridgeport for it before, but you were much younger. And then you were up in Vermont a few times for Christmases as a youngster. Wow. Video highlights are there.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
I'm going to have to look for those because I think I've just done too many vitamins in my life. Holy crap. I don't have those memories. Okay. Here we go.
Vitamins will get you. Yeah.
So for me today on my ROLO check-in, it's not so much that this ROLO reflects my mood necessarily. It's just kind of what's been happening to me and just around us. I've got a masked Magic Robin Lopez in a post-game interview. It looks like post-practice interview, actually. And this, again, it just represents kind of what we've all been seeing and dealing with. A show that I was supposed to go to, Cirque du Soleil in New York, was canceled because of the recent virus spike there, I guess, and over caution and things like that. And, you know, just with the league, all the games we've been watching together have been, you know, the G League showcases essentially, and the NBA has the new rules that we might talk about in a little bit. But, you know, it's just kind of what's going on. I'm not saying it's good or bad one way or the other. That's kind of what's going on with me. I'm the masked Robin Lopez right now. So kind of like Zorro, perhaps. Maybe I could work in that. I could be some type of hero perhaps with the mask.
I think Zorro's mask covered the opposite parts there.
But okay. Well, whether you're wearing your mask over your eyes or over your mouth, that kind of feeds into the first item for our social media roundup, where we scour the interwebs looking for all types of Magic posts. And this one I think you found on Instagram. It's from where, Pich?
It's from The Score.
Okay.
And it basically is Commissioner Adam Silver saying that they're not going to pause the NBA season. And he says, we've, of course, looked at all the options, but frankly, we're having trouble coming up with what the logic would be behind pausing right now. This virus will not be eradicated, and we're going to have to learn to live with it. And I picked this one because I just felt like I love this take. I like that the NBA is doing this. It's really, there's a lot more lives, affected by this than just the players on the court. that need these games to go on or want these games to go on. They need to get away, or they work at the arena, or they work in the parking lot outside. Like, there's a lot of people that are affected. And so I like that he's finding a safe way for everyone to just kind of keep going through. And I'm a big fan of the NHL, and they decided to kind of pause for a while. And I like the NBA has kind of decided, look, we're going to find a way to work around this. It's why we have the G League, where we can bring guys up and make this work. And I think it's kind of fun. It's a decent way around the situation that is, I think going to be all right. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I like the take too. I'm happy that basketball is going to continue in whatever manifestation it might look like. Maybe a lot of G leaguers out there, but basketball is being played. I think that this is a realistic approach. I've seen online that the NBA people are kind of going at the NBA a little bit here and saying that it's hypocritical because the NBA was very staunch at the beginning of the year on getting players vaccinated. One of our players, JI, took a lot of heat for, the choice that he made. And that was kind of the NBA putting pressure on its players to get this done, and local laws as well. But people are saying now, oh, you did that, and now you're just going to let them play through. I thought player health and safety was so important to you. And I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. The NBA already did what they could to do what they thought was right in getting as many players as possible vaccinated. So players are as safe as they can be right now. I don't know all the details of the health and safety protocols, but a lot of guys are getting nabbed by it. So it seems like anyone who comes even in contact with someone with a virus is quickly and, very cautiously being quarantined and set apart for a certain period of time. And what are we going to do, folks? This is our new reality. Like, we can't stop every time this is happening. Everyone who's getting vaccinated, who is going to get vaccinated, has done it. If people aren't, they're not. And we have to go on with our lives at some point. We can't continue to just pause our world. And right now, the world that we're talking about is the NBA.
Right. I agree. Yeah. I'm with you.
So I know this one, I kind of forced this one onto the social media roundup because this didn't maybe resonate with you, Pich, but this just hit my childhood nerve. And this was a tweet from @Magic_Wagberg. I don't know if it's a German, but I'm just going to say Wagberg because it's about Franz Wagner.
And if they do the W's as V's, maybe a V is a W there. So could just be Wagberg. I don't know.
Magic Wagberg could be. Okay. Yeah, you might be right on that. And they were responding to a stat that someone posted about the most dunks of players 22 or younger in the NBA who are non-bigs. A very specific and odd statistic that I don't think really matters much at all. But what does matter, Pich, is their response, which was an amazingly photoshopped image from the old school Pokemon games. I guess it's not that old school because the old school were in the black and white and this is in color. But it was for my Pokemon lovers out there. This is a photo from the Pokédex, that roll of all your Pokemon that you got to catch them all. And this person has caught a Franz Wagner. And every single move that Franz have is cut, because our boy loves to get to the rim. And that's why it does connect to this stat. He gets a lot of dunks because he knows how to cut. He really does. I think that's one of the things that surprised me most about Franz, Pich, is his nose for the hoop and like where space is and how he can get in there and open a passing lane.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I could go down a huge tangent on this one, but I won't. So I'll keep it brief. But Franz knows how to move without the ball to get open sometimes, which I love because we have a lot of players that waste their space on the court, which is a whole segment I could do on that.
The most important thing is the description here of future all-star. And I can see over your right shoulder, you're also pulling, you're trying to start a little campaign right now for December, Pich. What do you got there?
I'm saying Franz for Rodham. Let's go.
Come on.
Rookie of the month. What
are we even doing here? Who's a Cade Cunningham? Like, this is silly.
Yeah, let's go.
Franz has had a hell of a month. He's definitely deserving. And another player that's had a hell of a month, Pich, if I do say so myself, is a gentleman that has a place very close to the Court Cousins family because it is Rolo. He embodies our Rolo Check In. We've been on the Rolo bandwagon since day one. I don't think there are earlier fans of the Magic Rolo than us. We've documented it, Pich. And he's gotten a lot of play. He's gotten a lot of burn. this past month because of everything that's been going on, everyone that's been going down with injuries and health and safety protocol. And Michael Morris noticed this in Magic Nation, the Facebook community, one of the largest Magic communities on the interwebs. And Michael Morris wrote with a nice photo of Rolo there, "This is what I want from a centerpiece." Notice he wasn't hanging out by the 3-point line, tossing bricks at the goal. I jumped for joy when he missed his easy shot twice and grabbed his own rebound and put it back in. He even laughed. These are the easy points the Magic haven't been getting. I want him as my starting center. Pish, I've heard some version of this out of your mouth a couple times. Take it away, sir.
I know. When I read this, I thought I wrote it, and that's why, as you can see on the bottom, I clicked love on this one. It also reminds me, I don't know if Michael Morris was out on his porch at the time, or maybe it just sounds like a certain fellow we know, but man, it's spot on. Like, this is what centers do, and that's what he's doing. He's inside, he's rebounding, he's hustling, he's grabbing boards, he's hitting hook shots. It's what you need, and he's getting a lot of those points that we've been missing out on. And we're a team that can sometimes score only like 18 points in a quarter. We need every 2 we can get. So I love that he's on the offensive glass and even following his own shot, which is an art that seems lost by today's youth. So man, I love it. I love what he's doing. And he is a true starting center. Boom. And I would love to see him start with Wendell at the 4. Personally.
Okay. This is an intervention. We're going to take a step off the ledge there. We're not going to go to this is my starting center, but the point is well taken by me, Pish. I love the ethos of this post. It's great, with this quote unquote evolving NBA. Everyone's moving out to the 3-point line, pulling up real estate out there. It's great to just get a nice blast from the past, a refreshing breeze of Rolo coming in on the wind, and just to see the game that he plays. He's unabashed in his limitations. Like, he's not insecure about his limitations. He knows who he is as a player. He's got the down low game. Of course, Captain Hook has been, cooking him up down low. And he takes up space. He sets big picks and he rolls to the hoop hard. And I think that is what I'd like to see just a little bit more out of our Magic centers. Just a nice pick and roll to the hoop hard. Look for it. And especially on the offensive boards, I do think he has a lot to be desired on the defensive side. We talk about that. He kind of bails out on that a lot, so he's back for his position on defense because he's not swiftest of foot, but he is really nice on the offensive rebound, on the offensive glass, and it's nice to see a big body down there actually challenging for a second shot.
Yeah, that's great. We shouldn't have had to say it.
Yeah.
People should know.
All right. The last post is from Twitter. It's at Sam_Gorovitz. This was post the Magic loss to the Warriors quite some time ago now, but he has a nice little message here, a little 4-box meme of sorts. Just so Warriors fans were aware, he has Evil Skeletor in the upper left. As a Magic fan saying, haha, joke's on you, I'm into that shit. It's almost like we have been at this point in our Magic careers, which is like, we're almost into the losing. It's weird, man. The next upper right-hand corner, here's a picture of Cole and Franz in a tank, says, thank you for helping the tank. And then below, 2 pictures of Jabari Smith, and who I think is Jabari Smith, and Paolo Banchero in photoshopped into Magic uniforms. Just the back of the mind Magic fan, that little nagging voice there, just reminding you of the tank, Pish. Has that little voice started driving the tank at all in your mind?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one, or honestly. I feel like it's too early. And like I said the last show, I feel like you tank when there's a can't miss prospect at the top of the draft. Shaquille O'Neal, a LeBron James. And there's just not, because, I haven't seen a lot from these guys. I don't think they're going to be head and shoulders above everybody else. So I don't feel like we need to have the 1 pick or the 2 pick versus the 5 or 6 pick. I mean, and honestly, Cole and Franz in the tank in this, like, that kind of bugs me too, because those are 2 guys that don't want the tank.
Right.
Like, they could have picked some other players for this. I mean, it's funny, and I get that people have to have a sense of humor with all this losing. Trust me, no one knows that better than us. We like to try to bring humor to this thing. But I just feel like it's a little early to be getting excited about a tank for players we're not super sure are going to become future All-Stars. I mean, if there was one,
Yeah.
all right. But right now,
Yeah, I don't know much about the draft class. I want to save that for the summertime, and we'll have plenty of time to look at highlight videos and mock drafts. And oh my god, we're probably going to spend so many freaking Court Cousins episodes talking about that at some point. But
I'm already
I,
exhausted by watching
yeah,
players that we're not going to have on our team.
let's leave that future for the future. Let's live in the present, or actually, in order to appreciate our present, we got to go to our past, Pish. It's important to take a quick look back. And that's what we do, ladies and gentlemen, in our next segment. What I learned. I'm the teacher on this podcast, but this is where kind of Pish is able to go to the front of the class and let us know what he learned in this past stretch of games. So, Pish, take us through your thoughts.
Well, my first thoughts are what I learned right off the bat is when I was trying to type up these notes for the show. Your cats were jumping up into my lap, jumping up on the computer. They erased them completely once. So I learned how tough it is to podcast from your house here in Bridgeport with the boys.
You see what I do for you, Pish? You see what I have to get through? All right.
It's tough. But anyway, I still, like a trooper, retyped a lot of the things, and here we go. So the first game from this last stretch of games was against the Kings. Both teams were on fire in this one. The final score was 142 to 130. Normally, if you score 130 in a game, you should probably be on the winning side of this one. Both teams just could not miss, and it was nice to see us hitting a bunch of shots and running some good offense, but it was upsetting that we couldn't get a stop on the Kings to save our life. One thing I would like to stop from the Kings even more than their offense that night is that creepy lion mascot, which just is very disturbing. It's very clearly a human body with a weird head on it, and it seems like a minor league team mascot. Like, step it up, Kings. Like, are you really king of the jungle? Because it's kind of weak sauce that you were bringing there in the mascot game. And I know a thing or two about that, but that's for another show. So then Tristan Thompson is still a douchebag. I'm sure everybody was wondering, and that's still true. I kind of forgot that he was still in the league. You'd think after his dealings with the Kardashians that he would just kind of want to hide under a rock somewhere or go live on an island and stay out of the public eye. But nope, he's on the Kings, douching it up, yelling at referees and making faces at guys like, you know who I am? I'm Tristan Thompson. And it's like, yeah, that's why people are trying to dunk over you and stuff, because you're Tristan Thompson. So settle down. De'Aaron Fox was getting the star treatment from the refs, I felt like. This is a practice that, again, we could go off on a tangent here, but a lot of players will get this treatment from refs where, like, if you're touched, you get the foul call. And De'Aaron Fox was getting it, and I just feel like that was unnecessary, uncalled for. Did you have any thoughts from this Kings game?
I mean, I think it was just kind of a Cole Anthony statement game. He had 33 in this game. And I'm just, throwing down the gauntlet. Cole Anthony is better than Tyrese Halliburton. And I know that I'm wondering if Cole has that in his mind. He has spoken in interviews about knowing all the guys and all the teams that were drafted before him. So I think he wanted to get up a little bit extra for this. And he definitely proved his point. Tyrese Halliburton was taken 12th. He was taken 15th. And I mean, we can put that argument to sleep. Cole Anthony, better player. Tyrese Halliburton, solid player. I don't want to put him down, but come on, we got the good one.
Plus, now you get to play in Orlando versus Sacramento, so it's a win. Next, we played the Clippers. The Western road trip continued. Swings down to L.A. Luke Kennard playing for the Clippers looks like he's a guy straight out of the men's league. I swear to God, this is a guy I passed to, and he just drains jumpers from the bow all night. It's a very straight, but I guess he's a young guy. I looked it up and was like, oh, I didn't realize he's young. Eric Bledsoe also plays for the Clippers. That's where he ended up. He kind of got around like a top for a while. Used to be like an all-star level player, and then it kind of just started to casually fade to the benches of teams, and that's where he is. I'm all over Mo Bamba shooting threes. I know he hasn't been in the last few games, but this is the game where I finally decided to write it in all caps.
This is what put you over the edge.
I'm over it. Stop shooting them. You're not good at them. You don't have the rhythm. You don't seem confident. You shoot them basically because you're open and you feel like you should shoot them, but that's not a good enough reason. You're not hitting them. So stop doing it. Reggie Jackson kind of killed us in this one. He went from being Mr. October to Mr. December in this one. And I heard something about him retiring, but did you think that as well?
Yeah. I thought he was retired. I don't know. Like, I could have sworn, and then I looked into it, and it was like he was about to retire. Oh, he was, and then Paul George talked him back into going for another run, and of course, he's the one that freaking puts the dagger in us, the game-winning shot. So I'm pissed at him. I wish he would retire. I'm angry at Paul George. It's like, damn, retire already, Reggie Jackson.
Oh, Ross had a chance at the end with a buzzer
That's
beater,
true.
but it was no good. Then we stayed in LA to take on the Lakers. Rolo he was coming out here. He was all over the boards early, boosting things. My biggest shocker in this one was, and it's really a nice thing because it's a holiday season and stuff like that. And the Lakers decided that, they would sign one of these kids that, wants a chance to play on the team and they actually gave him some minutes in the game. He played a lot more than I thought he would, but I think it was really nice. I don't know if it was a Make-A-Wish thing or not, but I think he was wearing number 15 for them. I think his name is, I've got Austin Reeves down here. So, good for him that he got a chance to play in an NBA game. That's pretty awesome. So congratulations.
That's cold, dude.
But it's also kind of cold that they decided to play this guy against the Magic. So it tells you what they thought of us.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Russell Westbrook was up to his complaining ways and turnover ways. He leads the NBA in turnovers, by the way. And he always has that look right on his face, like he's in an elevator with a lot of people and someone just blasted a huge fart. Like he always just like,
yeah.
And it's like,
displeased always.
Russell, I look at you and go. So I don't know. He complains too much for me, and it bothers me. And I know a lot of players on the Lakers complain. I know you're not a fan of LeBron.
I had been a fan of LeBron for a while. I respect that he uses his platform in the certain ways that he does, that he's, created a school as a teacher. That's near and dear to my heart. But I'm in the get the hell out of here, LeBron. I've had enough of you. Retire already. Like, I'm sick of you. I don't need it anymore. The fact that he on his, barbershop show, Uninterrupted or whatever it's called, dissed Orlando, say he never wants to go back there again because he's in the bubble. He wasn't trying to throw shade necessarily at the squad, but because he dissed in Orlando. That doesn't help. That doesn't help us get players. And then, he comes out and he wants to throw down a triple double against us and get all pumped up like he's doing something. You got nothing. I mean, your team is garbage. You have the 26th worst offense in the league. That's almost as bad as us. You're not going anywhere. There's no character to this team. They don't have any grit to them. I mean, they're going to get knocked out. And I was pissed. I felt like he was using a victory over the Magic to kind of lull the masses for a moment, lull those fake Laker fans for a second into not calling for anyone's head for a few days. But soon after, they just fall into their losing ways. This team is no good, and I just couldn't. The stupid thing with Wendell Carter's glasses, don't touch his glasses, bro. No one asked you to do that. No one cares. Like, we don't need the whole show, LeBron. Okay, we don't need that. Keep that in LA where you want to be so badly, and enjoy your losing season. Just get out of here.
Right. I felt like RJ lost his composure in this game, and I kind of started to lose my any good vibes for him in this one. He just seemed like that young punk kid that was mad he wasn't getting calls and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you're playing against LeBron. You may be right, but putting on the stink face is not necessarily going to get things done. We were up 3 at halftime, so we were playing pretty well in this game. And then down 23 after the third quarter.
Wow.
So, this was the coldest third quarter ever. And as a man who makes ice for a living, I know cold. This was a terrible quarter. And if not for this quarter, we win this game because we had a great fourth quarter and made it interesting. Then we played the Hawks, and this was a basketball game that we lost. Then we played the Heat, and it was Star Wars night. Yeah, sometimes you just gloss over games because there's really nothing to talk about. It's okay.
We don't need to relive that.
Yeah. So then Star Wars night was going on, and the Heat have a player named KZ. This is when all when that confused me, but this is the time when we're starting to see G League guys come in. They also had a guy named Yurt7, who is only in the league because he's tall. This guy has no talent. I'm sorry. He might be able to play a musical instrument or maybe good artist, but he's not good at basketball. He's just there because he's tall. I think he might be like 7'1", 7'4". So he's a tall guy, and you could see him getting coached on the floor with basic things. It was almost like, yeah, you can't step on that line. That's out of bounds and stuff. And it was like, who is this guy? What's he doing in there right now? But hey, that's part of what makes the G League time fun. And now watch a year at 7. Next year, he's going to be comeback player of the year or something. I'll be wrong. But right now, he doesn't know anything about basketball. Marcin Gortat was in the stands. He was one of my favorite Magic players. And he joked that with these players out there today, he could still put on the uniform and go get 10 and 10. And we were thinking, put him on, put him in.
Yeah, get him in, dude. I loved how he just went in savagely for that. He had no political savvy. He wasn't trying to answer in the coy way. He was just like, yeah, these guys suck right now.
Speaking of coy, he got stuck like a fish out in the pond when his boat ran out of gas. So he's not exactly making all the best moves, but that's a fun story. What wasn't fun was Carter getting injured in this one.
Yeah.
He got wheelchaired off, which,
dude,
in the time of this game, this was seemed like a very serious thing, but now after the fact, because he's even played a game already coming back.
Yeah.
Really, guy, you need a wheelchair to get off the court?
Can you not, Wendell? Like everything that us Magic fans have been through, haven't we seen enough dudes carted off? Like I was sick. Like I was almost physically ill that night. I just see him. You thought it, and you saw it was like a knee. It was a knee contact.
Yeah, it looked bad.
So you're just like, oh, there goes another ACL. Okay, here we go.
His face like, this is serious, y'all.
He was like almost weeping as he was leaving the court.
Yeah.
Oh God,
it was weird. I mean, I don't want to say what another man's pain feels like, but
no,
my pain then started to kick in because, as usual, when you play the Heat, Strus and Gabe Vincent decided to go off.
That's who I think of. That's how I think of when I think of the Heat. Yeah,
absolutely. No, we were all over the Google machine in this one to figure out who these guys were.
I thought Strus was like a Dr. Seuss character or something, like Strusville, like the little Struses or something,
Sound a little bit. I know when we took on the Lakers and they had a Horton Tucker, I wasn't hearing of who. I was looking up who he was. So a lot of Seuss going on in this bank of games. Kyle Lowry was there for the Heat, but he didn't do a ton. I still want to punch him in the face, though. He bothers me.
Oh yeah. Well, we have a history with him.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of this guy. And so, basically we lost this game to the Heat that I think we could have won. Then we had our game against the Raptors, which got canceled because of aforementioned things. And now it's time to get into the win streak. Everybody come on. We're about to talk about 2 Magic wins. We're playing against Brooklyn. And first of all, this Brooklyn court, this logo, these jerseys, that should be what they wear all the time instead of just this basic black and white stuff. It's a better look.
Is that the grays?
Still not a net in the logo. No, the blue and the red.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Look very solid. Impressed by that. Not as impressed by the Nets.
Those are the throwbacks for them.
Rolo was dominating again earlier. This game had a real preseason vibe. And Gravett and Harris and Chum, they were all benefiting from these minutes, and it was good to see Harris and Chum like stepping up. And you'd see Chuma like stepping into a 3 with confidence and shooting them and hitting them. And it was like, where has this guy been all the time? I also learned that David Steele loves to say Pepperdine because whenever the player from the Nets that was from Pepperdine was in the game, he would mention that he's from Pepperdine. Then he actually called Robin Lopez Rolo once on the call, which was a minor pop for me. I don't think it's that. I don't know. I don't
know why you got so giddy over that, but
I just thought it was cool because Turner was describing to him at the time that he goes by Rolo, and he's like, just call him Rolo. And then Rolo made a basket, like right as he said that. So he's like, Rolo the basket. I don't know. I just like it. It's what I learned.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, teacher. Sorry.
Then a guy named David Duke Jr. went off on us, which is weird because it gives me neo-Nazi vibes even as I say it. He was in there and he was balling. And I'm not sure how he ended up with this name, but he's changing its narrative for the better. So good on you, sir. And of course, the Magic hang on. They win this game. Rolo tries to be interviewed at the end. He asks if he should riff on something. It's amazing. Actually, that might have been at the end of the Hawks game. But all the wins.
Okay, the wins. Oh yeah, the wins are just, there's so many, Piece. You can't keep track of them. They're all getting together.
You start and you're juggling, and you're just like, I can't juggle all these. But I set them down. Playing the Hawks. The Hawks were missing most of their team, which means Trae Young wasn't playing because that's pretty much all they have. John Collins is overrated, as I told you while we watched this show. I couldn't believe he had the amount of points he did at the end of the game because when I was watching the game, I saw him make a ton of mistakes, and I can't believe he still scored that many. But when you play pretty much the entire game, I guess you'll have that. But I think he's an overrated player. Just saying it. I love the play of Gravit and the G League hustle guys. These guys are getting in there and they're like, oh, this is our time to shine. And we're going to talk a little bit about them later. But it's nice to see guys in there hustling instead of looking to shoot, get back on D, don't run a play. You know what I mean? Like they seemed like they were bringing something to the league that it doesn't see, which is actually running plays, trying to be sound, not turn the ball over. When you think about like how many turnovers that like, I hate to call him out, but even Suggs in his first like 10 games he had versus the amount of turnovers that Gravit had in his first couple games, you got to love that.
Absolutely.
So do you have any other thoughts on these two wins? Because I'm kind of, I got crazy here.
This was just, I felt extremely conflicted about these victories. I honestly, maybe I'm not conflicted. Because the feeling that's coming through most is it's anger. I'm like, damn, these are the wins that we're going to get. You know, these are the last wins that I want. I know we're not talking about the tank yet, and we're not talking about the draft and everything, but the goal of this season, that for me, my like personal, what I would like to see from the Magic this year was the development of the young guys. And I think that's been articulated from, the top down in the organization. We want to see development from our guys. But the problem with these victories is most of those guys weren't in the lineup to get that experience, getting a win. Franz was really the only guy in there. Chuma maybe, but the way Chuma's been playing, he might play himself right out of a rotation spot. So Franz is really the only guy that was getting some development here during these wins. And that's not really what I was hoping for. I wanted to see wins with our full starting lineup, with everyone in there contributing and doing something new or improving on a skill that they had to get victories. I don't want these throwaway victories against also our opponents who don't even really have a team, so it's just our G League Lakeland Magic. We already know the Lakeland Magic are great. They won the championship last year. I don't need those wins though in the NBA, but it's just it's a byproduct of where we are.
I'm down with wins. I feel like we can still end up with 25 wins this season and still be the worst team in the league. So why not get a couple now? Because there's definitely been a couple games we've lost this season that we should have won already. So I feel like we got a couple of them back. Wins are wins, man. I'm on board. Then last night we played against the New Orleans Pelicans. This is one of those games I'm talking about that I feel like we should win, but we couldn't handle Brandon Ingram. He was just too much. Wendell and Cole were back in the lineup, which was great, but you could see that they were rusty in that first half. They finally got going a little bit in the second half, but it was almost too late. The comeback was good, but it wasn't quite enough. The bright spot again was seeing the guys mix in, and it was great to see them back on the court after, Wendell going out on a wheelchair. You had to wonder if he was going to be able to come back soon. So it was great to see him back out there. And I love that we're able to make a run to come back in games, but the problem is we're down too much. It's too much to overcome. And then sometimes when we get in a tight game at the end, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of direction. We're not sure who should be taking the shot, or we decide who should be taking the shot and they take it no matter what. There's no plan B. And that is sort of a little disheartening because, sometimes Franz isn't open. Sometimes Ross isn't there. Sometimes Cole's not feeling it. He went 0 for 6 from 3 last night. Should he have bombed a 3 in the last couple of minutes? Probably not. But at some point, we're going to learn how to do that stuff. And you're going to have to probably lose those games before you figure out how to win them. I feel like that's part of the process that we're still getting. So, and lastly, the thing, if I'm going to wrap up all the stuff, we talked about the G Leaguers already. I learned something interesting while doing research this week that blew my dang mind. Timofey Mozgov is currently being paid by the Orlando Magic $5.5 million this season. And he's never suited up in a game for the Orlando Magic, but because of the way some trades and stuff have gone, we are paying him $5.5 million. Other people may know that fact. That was news to me. I was like, wait a minute, did he even play for us? And I'm like, he's been out of the league since 2018. Why are we paying him $5.5 million? But
it must have restructured. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what trade that was in, but holy crap, still, isn't that nice? Wouldn't that be a nice gig, Pish? Just to make a cool 5.5 mil to not work.
I'll do it for half.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pish, for taking us all to class, taking us to school. Learned a lot there.
An old man, his porch, and some words of wisdom.
You kids, you make a list. You think Santa checks it twice. You get all these toys. You're looking at Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman and all these other guys. Let me tell you a true Christmas hero. This is Yukon Cornelius. And he took down a bumble, all while licking his pickaxe and hunting for peppermint. He's a good man. When it comes to holiday characters, this is my favorite. That's the way I like it. Merry Christmas to all. And to all, a good night.
All right, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going into our holiday themed fill in the blank. We're going to fill in the stocking, if you will, Pish. And so the way that this will work is we'll present each other with some statements, but there's a blank left out, and we have to fill in that blank, or today, fill in the stocking. So, Pish, the first statement, holiday themed here, is one present you want to gift a Magic player is blank.
Well, I know you're familiar with the story of the old three wise men, but one thing that's always confused us for years is the one guy that brought frankincense and myrrh. Well, I have figured it out. I know what frankincense is, and that's what I want to give to Mo Bamba. I want him to have a Franken-style sense in the paint with the ball. I want him to take over and be the size he is. I want him to have that frankincense vibe to him. And he can also have some myrrh. Have them both, but focus on the frankincense. Let's go. I need you to be big and tough. What are you putting in a Magic stocking?
I dig that. I want some more Frankenstein in Mo Bamba's game too. One present that I want to gift a Magic player is Horace Grant goggles for Wendell. I mean, I feel like this is a slam dunk. All right, pardon the pun, but I can't. Every Magic fan is just craving this right now. Wendell, please, I'll put it in your stocking. I'll FedEx it to you. I'll send it to you, man. We need those blue, beautiful goggles on Wendell. I mean, he's been having enough problems with his existing pair. I think he'd be open to a change. And absolutely. I did hear that I heard, I don't know if it was David Steele and I don't know who mentioned it, but I thought he did order some and was maybe trying to make them work, but maybe they weren't. So I'm going to force the issue and I'm going to gift him those majestic blue goggles.
That's perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think he needs to make sure he has some that aren't falling apart all the time or falling off his head. And Horace never had that problem. So let's go.
All right. The next one, Pish. We just gave a gift to an Orlando Magic player. Now the Magic are going to give us a gift. So Pish, one gift you'd like from the Magic this Christmas is blank.
So if the Magic are going to give me something this Christmas, I tell you what, I'm nervous. They sent out that post about what did you like about uniforms and what did you like about the logos and the colors. And right now I'm a little nervous that they're trying to put out the feelers to see if everybody just wants to stay orange maybe, or, I'm nervous that they're going to mess up the logo. So if I had one gift, I'd just be like, hey, let's be easy here, because let's not change everything just because, it's that kind of time where we're changing stuff. Like,
if it ain't break, don't fix it. Just give me the classic. That's what just give me the classic that we know and love.
I feel like the poll results would show that. So I'm hoping that leads them in that direction, but I'm nervous. And if I'm asked for a gift, I love gear and I love the Magic gear. I've always loved the classic blue and the black, and I'm embracing the orange this year because I love orange too. But let's keep it simple here. Let's not go crazy.
I like that gift. Right. If I had to get one gift from the Magic this year for Christmas, it would be some god dang defense. All right. Please play some defense. Right now we're the 26th ranked defense by defensive efficiency or efficiency percentage. And it just really shows our offense is actually worse, 28th, but let me explain why. I know we've had some offensive woes too, but when Jamal Mosley came in, his number one marching order was player development. And that was really clear. But the other thing that he wanted to hang his hat on was defense. having guys tied together and building a cohesive defensive unit. Nate Tibbetts is kind of the offensive coordinator. He's the associate head coach. I'll leave him off the hook. For Christmas this year, Jamal Mosley, I want you to come through on your promise of developing a defensive identity. I feel like we've talked about it on the pod. We have these droughts where we can't get a stop, these quarters. And because our offense is so bad, the aforementioned 28th ranked offense, if you're not getting stops, that lead really hemorrhages because we do have trouble scoring right now. I'm not as worried about the scoring. I think that the guys will just shoot a little bit better, will improve. I think the offense will come. But what I'm really worried about is that, we don't get enough stops. Defensive rating is a compilation of how many possessions per 100 possessions are ending in a defensive stop, aka a defensive board, a steal, or a block. And at the beginning of this year, Magic fans, there was kind of a buzz in the community because we thought we were going to be playing a more aggressive style. With Steve Clifford, we played the drop defense because Vooch couldn't get out, so we would drop all our defensive coverages. But that wasn't very exciting. We didn't get out in transition very often because we weren't trying to get those passing lanes. And you thought Jamal Mosley now with like Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, some more young Mo Bamba, Wendell, with these younger guys, they were going to be pressing the ball a little bit more, getting some more turnovers. And we just haven't seen that. And we definitely haven't seen a defense that even comes close to matching the turnovers that we're producing on offense. So please, Coach Mosley, I've been a good boy this year. Put a defense in my stocking, please, sir. I'd like some more. Yeah. Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I liked it. I think that's something they could definitely use. You're right. We talked about it on the show and we kind of ignored the defense because we thought we were doing well in that aspect.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of starting to show that defense leads to offense sometimes, and it's not really bridging that gap. So it sounds like if we did that game again, you would probably swap it around.
I might now. It might also be because Jalen's out too, and it just seems his absence may be exacerbating the issue because I don't see that kind of ball hawkishness that you get when Jalen's on the floor. So hopefully, wishing him a great recovery. I could also add that as a gift that the Magic could give me in my stocking for Christmas this year would be no injuries and all good recoveries. Yeah. Just give me health.
I'm surprised one of us didn't go that way, but I feel like
we just did, I guess.
It's too obvious. It's too obvious.
All right.
Plus, we're all wishing on a star every night on that one. So
this is true.
My Christmas wish was 2.
This one, Pich, the next one, I don't want to give away too much about what I'm going to say here. The Wagners, both Wagners.
Yes.
Franz in particular, though, if I have to say, the Wagner's reactions after every foul call is blank and makes me feel blank.
I'm going to say unnecessary, and that it makes me feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
I feel embarrassed, especially for Franz, because you're getting a lot of good run as a good player and probably maybe a future, all-star potential player. And yet when people do tune in to watch you, you kind of act like that. And it's like, you aren't Dirk Nowitzki and you haven't been in this league long enough to earn some of the calls that you think you're entitled to. So back off on the attacking the referees too soon in my book. I feel a little embarrassed for him because I hate it when other players do it. I spoke about Westbrook and we've spoken about a few other guys in this show alone already. So I don't like it when our guys do it personally, but what do you think?
I agree, dude. The Wagner's reactions after every foul call is immature. And it makes me feel disappointed. I feel like I'm a parent. Like, I'm so disappointed in you, Franz. But, as a teacher, I try to teach students effective ways to communicate. And regardless if you're just a human being out in the world or if you're on an NBA basketball court and you're dealing with a referee, yelling at people and getting people angry and trying to make people look bad is never a way to get what you want. That's never an effective path of communication. And I'm hoping that the veterans on the team and Jamal Mosley in particular, the coaches, are trying to tell him, like, buddy, it's not going to be helpful. Go over and talk to the referee as a human being after your emotions have calmed down. I understand you're in the competitive spirit. but learn how to take a meditative breath, bro. Just take a deep breath after, make sure that exhale is longer than that inhale, and then go approach the referee at another time and talk to them rationally. And then you'll see you'll get your way more. It's just, it's unnecessary, like you said.
I'm not claiming to be at an NBA level, but I know I played a lot of basketball as a kid growing up, and I started my career doing the same damn thing, yelling, getting mad about calls, all that kind of stuff. And then calls would become against me that I didn't do, because you kind of get this reputation and it's bad. And I realized as I got older and started to, obviously move to men's leagues and stuff like that, I would kind of befriend the referee and kind of joke with them. And you know what? They're going to make bad calls from time to time because they're human, but you let it go and you move on. And the referee is going to have your back when you're a little nicer to them. And I don't think they've been taught that lesson yet, but they need it.
Amen. And some of the players that haven't really, that have just been kind of putting their nose to the grindstone, getting things done, hustling, playing good basketball, the G Leaguers. We've seen these guys come in and they're just so excited to be in the league and to have their shot that they're just playing hard and they're doing what they need to do. So this fill in the blank is as such, Pish. The G League player that I'd love on the roster is blank.
Well, there's two, but I'm going to go with one because I'm pretty sure you're going to say the other one. But
yeah,
I wasn't going to not give my approval to that cat because he's good. But I'm going with BJ Johnson. I've been calling him B Ross. He reminds me of like Terrence Ross. I've been calling him the space heater because he's not quite the torch, but he can heat up fast. He can really heat that room effectively if you leave him on. And I like what I see from him. I like the hustle. I love anybody that can come on this team, hit open shots, plays defense, and has the hustle. And I feel like he's definitely one of the best G Leaguers that's in there that I'm like, do I like you more than some of the players deep on our bench? Yes. If Etuan Moore was back, do I want you more than him? Yes, I certainly do. You know what I mean? Like, you start to make the argument for this guy seeing more minutes with the Magic going forward.
Yeah. Well, another guy that we could make some arguments for is Hassani Gravat or Gravit. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so now I'm a little confused. But he'll reach out. He's a big fan of the show. He'll let us know what the correct pronunciation is. But I wanted this guy at the bottom of the bench since the summer league. He was a great passer, great facilitator, just fantastic, safe with the ball, and setting up his teammates all summer league. And I thought he really was an intriguing player. And the games that he's played now 4 up with us in the main squad. He's not averaging a lot of points. He's not burning it up. 6 points, 7 points, 8 points, 5 points. But the turnovers is what's great for me. 2 turnovers, 1 turnover, 0 turnovers, 1 turnover. And he's shooting from the field 63.2%. So that those numbers just tell us he's being safe with the ball, but he's also being really efficient with his shots. He's not trying to force it like I feel sometimes our guys are, just kind of running into no man's land. He's moving the rock, and when it's getting to him in a good shooting position, he's taking the shot. And I just love what I see from him. And I think we kind of have been lacking that on our team, especially when Suggs went down. But even with Suggs, because he has his turnover issues, serious turnover issues that we've discussed. But really, without Cole, when Cole goes to the bench, we have not had a good ball handler. Hopefully, when Kel gets back, that's going to change. But I still think there could be a place for Hassani Gravat as the third ball handler on the team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we tried Franz in that spot. I mean, he did a decent job, but I mean, he looks more comfortable doing it.
Absolutely.
He looked like an NBA guard. I played the game with what I would call he looked like he had a respect for it. He respected that he was there. He wasn't trying to do too much, but he did take what was given to him.
Yes.
And that's
he wasn't afraid.
That's important for a young guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, come on, he's my ginger brother. So you know, I want him on the squad. That's my dude. Yeah. We got the ginger curls going. We have like an unspoken bond. We're at the meetings. We all go to the conventions together. I've seen him. We've had lunch he's a good dude. So he deserves it. And he, like you say, looks like he's comfortable out there. And one of the places that I've found you're most comfortable, Pish, and you really look like a pro is in this next segment. Magic the Card Gathering. Yep. That's your wheelhouse. And here we are, sir. In Magic the Card Gathering, Pish is going to dive into his treasure trove which is, we found out, just a binder, and talk about our franchise through some Orlando Magic basketball cards. What do you have for us today, Peach?
Well, today, to start the show, I've got something for you, or to start the segment, I've got something for you. And then at the end, I've got something for the fans of the show. For you, I've got here, this is your own treasure trove of all of the of Magic cards. So there's some good stuff from yesterday and today. There's some stuff from the first year. You got some Jeff Turner on there, and then there's some
you got to
Cole
wrap
stuff
that
from
up,
today.
man.
So
Christmas
there you go.
came early.
You'll have your own treasure trove. Well, let's go ahead and get to Magic the Sports Card Gathering segment here. For the first one today, we're starting off with the Background Crashers. We've got this card of Dennis Scott. Yes. It's a Fleer Ultra, I believe, from 95, 96. You can see Scottie Pippen on there in the background. And also over on the side, Tony Kukoc, the Pink Panther, making an appearance on this card. Dennis Scott, of course, selected 4th overall in the 1990 draft. The Magic's second first rounder ever. When you think about the fact that we got Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott with our first 2 picks, that's pretty solid. When all the misses that happen in an NBA draft, it's a pretty solid start. I mean, those guys aren't like all-star NBAers, but those guys were quality starters on some teams that did some damage in the playoffs. So love me some D3.
That's a great point. I never really thought about it. I mean, you, as an expansion team too, you really need to rock those first couple of drafts, and that set us on a pretty meteoric rise. Obviously, Shaq falling into our laps with 1, that was the linchpin that we needed, but we were still a pretty good team there because of those 2 picks.
Even getting serviceable guys in your first couple of years is big.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that have come in the league that have missed on a lot of those, and then it gets hard for them to find footing. And the next thing you know, they move to Memphis. All right. So that one moves us on to our next guy who is most commonly known for playing in Memphis. It's the rookies category. Here is Mr. Mike Miller, rookie of the year back in 2001. Also won the 6th man of the year in 05-06. He only played the first 2.5 seasons with Orlando. And then he was part of those Miami Heat titles with Bron and the gang later in his career. He is one of only 5 players ever from South Dakota. So he's therefore the best player to ever come out of the state of South Dakota, Mike Miller. And there's a little bit of jersey on that card too. Before he even played with the Magic, he just wore it in a photo shoot, and they're like, cut it up, put it on cards. People like it. We do. Here it is. Next, he played in Orlando, and this one came to me as a result of our boy, Mr. David Steele, last night, who was talking about guys who had played with the Magic, come to the Magic for their final season before they left. And I saw a name on there that I'd kind of forgotten about. His name was Dominique Wilkins. And an interesting thing about this is his brother, Gerald Wilkins, also played with the Magic. In fact, he played with Dominique in that last season. Both their last seasons were in Orlando. This is the lesser known Wilkins. He mostly played most of his career with the New York Knicks. But in the 98 to 99 season, it wasn't a full season for both men, but they played with the Magic. So we're used to having brothers on the team. It goes way back.
Yeah. I never even knew that Dominique had a brother and that he played for the Magic. Thank you for elucidating that. Thank you.
Yeah. Gerald was a solid player, man. He was a good player back with the Knicks back in the day. But obviously he was no human highlight film. What are you going to do?
No. Yeah.
Hey, next we've got Who the Hell Is That? And this one's kind of a bonus card because you got 2 men on the same card, and we've also got more jersey. That's right. That's right. You got Mr. Stephen Hunter there on the top, who is the question mark, and then of course Tracy McGrady on the bottom, who is very well known. Boy, the light is very bright here. There you go. This is a numbered card. It's number 2 of 1,000. So they didn't make a ton of these.
And that one is that jersey material there?
The blue behind it is jersey material, and then Tracy McGrady's. There's a 1 there too, and then there's a jersey of his behind there. I'll show it to you later.
Oh, is it white?
Get your hands on it. It's much better. Yeah. But Stephen Hunter, man, he's
taking the value of that card down.
He is, and I think he was Magic drafted him in the first round, 15th overall in 2001. I think they thought, we got the next Shaq. Here he comes, but no. Swing and a miss. He played a couple seasons with the Magic, then kind of got around the league a little bit, had a knee injury, and was out within about 7 or 8 years. So didn't really pan out. That's what I'm talking about. Draft picks, sometimes they don't always pan out. So
Dang. Is he at the
lastly,
medical supply company now with
he is probably involved in the medical field at some point. Yeah, when he was
Yeah.
like in knee surgery, he probably picked up
Yeah.
an application. That's just smart. Lastly, I've got the this is usually the category I reserve for stat of the week, but today I just wanted to show you a Rashard Lewis card.
Oh
There he
yeah.
is.
Nice.
He played with the Magic from 08 to 2011. Was with Seattle, the Seattle Supersonics for 9 years prior. He was a 2-time All-Star, including the 08-09 season. And he wore number 9. I've got it on right here, right now.
Looking
And you know
good,
what?
man.
We just haven't talked about Rashard much on this show, but man, I really
Yeah.
loved that Magic team, and I loved what he brought to that squad at that time. And
Yeah.
the reason I'm just kind of throwing him in here is because I've been doing a lot of these categories for a while now, and I'm kind of interested what the fans want to see. I want you to make up a category. I want
Ooh.
you to send me a card. Maybe send me even what your thoughts are. If you send a video or something and we like it, boom, we're going to pop it into the show. And I've got something special for you. It's another card. It's a bonus 6 card. It's a gift card. It's a $25 gift card to the NBA store. And the person who sends in the submission that we like the most, be it just a category, a card, a video, we're going to add it to the show, and we're going to send you this $25 gift card. That's the real sports gathering, and that's the spirit of Christmas we're giving.
Amen. Oh, can I now that I have my own treasure trove, can I enter? Or I
don't know. You may not.
Am I
you may not be
exempt?
able to apply.
Yeah,
I
I have to read the fine
Come
print.
up with. Maybe you
Yeah.
should do a whole segment. That could be fun.
Ooh, well, now that I have my own Pelf, my own store, I'll jump into it.
Oh, Pelf, get out the Google machine, kids.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So thank you, Pich, for taking us down memory lane a little bit there. Rashard Lewis, I'm getting some flashbacks to the Garden, him shutting up those annoying Celtics fans. Just beautiful years there on those teams. Now we're going into deciding who is going to either retain or give up the Court Cousins championship belt. Now, I currently have the belt, and this past week, I'm going to put up a graphic here with what happened with our wagers last week. We each give 2 wagers to each other on the upcoming games, and depending on who gets what right and wrong, that's how we decide who gets the belt. So the recap graphic from last week, we bet on Mo Bamba. He was trending in the right direction, it seemed, and we set the line over under 23 points, rebounds, and blocks. Pich, you took the over. You were confident in Mo's game, but unfortunately, no Mo. Yeah. Oh, Mo, no. Yeah, he only averaged 18 combined points, rebounds, and blocks in the 3 games he played. It was cut short. With what did he have? He had is it an injury or health and safety protocol? I can't even keep him track anymore. But he went out.
I think it was
after 3 games.
Safety,
yeah, and then the next one we had T. Ross. You presented this one. He was shooting a little bit better. You set the over under at shooting 30% from beyond the arc. I liked the way he was trending. I thought, okay, T. Ross is back. He was shooting just under 30% in the last stretch. And so I took the over, but I lost with the over. T. Ross only averaged 26 point percentage from beyond the arc in the 3 games that he played. He got killed by his 0 for 5 night against Atlanta. That really sunk the ship there. The next wager I presented, I believe this one, Mo Wagner minutes. You've been a big booster in the Mo Wagner camp, and he was getting more minutes. So I set the line at over under 15.3 minutes per game. You took the over, Pich. You were set up pretty to win that. You were with everyone out. Yeah.
This is news to me. When you just put this
Yeah.
graphic up, I could not believe that you're saying that I didn't win this one, because apparently he played 11 seconds in the Sacramento game. I thought that was a DNP and that I had won this category. I am floored by this news. And therefore, I'm going to have to turn this sign upside down and say, ow, because that one hurts.
I'm sorry, dude. I mean, you can verify later, but I looked in Basketball Reference. He did play in that game. And you're right, that killed you. And also, with Wendell going down, I thought, okay, this is done for me. But then health and safety protocol struck and he didn't play. So it was just based on those games that he played. He averaged 12.6 minutes, and what killed him was that 11 seconds playing in the Sacramento game. The next one, you enticed me with this one, a Cole Anthony prop, and as you can see here, I'm gonna bite on that. It was over under on 26 points and assists combined. And I think for the first time we have a push, Pish. You might want to double check me, but I saw that he averaged in the recent games 21 points and 5 assists in the 4 games he played. And so that's 26. So according to those numbers, it's a push. Okay. So we got to do better in the future, making sure that doesn't happen, setting our numbers at like a half point or something. I don't know why we didn't think of it. So for the week, I went 2-1, I believe. Yes.
I gotta tell you, I didn't bring my stat guy who's usually sits over here with me in Bridgeport.
You left him at home.
I thought I was gonna celebrate a 3-1 victory today, so I'm really thrown.
Yeah. So we can review that. I can see you're a little salty. It's fine. Just, like we were telling Franz earlier, just take a deep breath. You can talk to the referees after. And
sure. No, I'm not complaining.
No.
I'm saying, well, we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think based on that math, I'm actually up 2-1. So going into this week, as long as we don't have any challenges and nothing gets reversed, I think we're at 2-1 right now. Going into the next set of games, we're playing the Heat. This is tough. This is a tough slog right here. And before it gets easier, the Heat, the Bucks again, the Celtics, the Bulls, and the Sixers. These are some tough games, unless some guys go out with health and safety protocols and such. This could be ugly. I'll start, Pish. Can I give you the first one?
Go ahead.
Okay. So with all the craziness that's been going on, Gary Harris has been a shining star on our team as of late. I didn't really think I'd be saying that, but I'm extremely pumped that he's really turned around his play so far. Just need a little time to get warmed up. These wily vets just take a little time to get the joints moving. He's averaging currently 14.6 points over the last 6 games, which is fantastic. I've been betting on him and winning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you were with me on that line, betting with him. And it started FanDuel had his points originally at like 10. And it's just been creeping up game after game because he's just keep covering and covering and covering and covering. Now it's at 14.5. All right. His last game, the spread was, or his points total was 14.5. I think that's a little high now that Cole is back and Wendell are back. So I'm not going to set it there. I'm going to set it at 12.5. What do you say about 12.5 over under for Gary Harris in this next stretch of games, Pish?
Well, yeah, who they're playing matters because even if other guys come back, how much playing time is he going to get? Probably not the same amount that he's getting now. But man, even if he gets it in a couple of those games,
I'm
going to take the over here. And I don't want to, but I just feel like there's good math in it. And I'm going to take the over.
I like it. So now going from where Pish went at the beginning of the year with Gary Harris to now betting on his over in points. Let's go. I've reached my dream.
I'm betting over 12.5 here. He could still only get 12.6 and it would be disappointing. I'm just going with the math here. Like it seems like even in the first few games, he's probably going to play a lot. And then even if he doesn't play a lot, as they start to mix the other guys back in, he might have already done enough to get, he may have some 19, 20 point games. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what this guy, that's part of why he makes me mad sometimes. Sometimes he can produce at a high rate and then other times he goes to sleep. So I'm going to bet that he stays awake for a little while longer, just enough to get over 12.5.
I like where you're at with that. He's been playing really well. I think he's been one of our most consistent players lately. What do you have for me, Pish?
All right. What I have for you is I have the Magic have been averaging 32.4 from the 3-point line. The league average is 34.8. We haven't done a lot of huge team ones, but I wanted to mix one in here. So I'm saying we'll use that line that the Magic have set for themselves. 32.4. You think that 3-point shooting is going to be over or under that in these 6 games?
I would really love to be the optimistic Magic fan right here and take the over, but we've been shooting like dog shit pretty much, except really Gary Harris. Now that Cole's back, maybe. But I just think that with all the uncertainty, players coming into the lineup, leaving the lineup, just every single night, not knowing who's going to play, Chuma is doing his best to drag our 3-point percentages down into the dumps. And I just unfortunately can't see a light at the end of the tunnel for that guy. I mean, he's shooting 23% or 23% about from beyond the arc. A low light was 2 for 11 against Atlanta. I bet on him to get 1.5, thought it was easy money, put some money on him to get 3 and 4 that night. He shoots 11 and he makes 2. Like that's horrendous. So because of all the reasons I just stated and how poorly Chuma has been shooting and how much he's been shooting from beyond the arc, I'm going to take the under. I feel shitty about it, but that's what I'm going to do. Under 32.4% in the next stretch of games.
Fair enough. I feel comfortable with the over here, so I'm okay.
We're playing some good defensive teams. The Bucks. I mean, Drew Holiday. They have some good perimeter defenders.
We're going to be gunning. We're going to be gunning in an attempt to catch up. So you're right. They could be throwing up some lot of bad shots. You have never tough to say.
All right, the next one. This is perfect for the time that we're in, Pich. G Leaguers. Of course, you know we had to have a prop on G Leaguers because everyone's doing it, right? That's what you get here when you come to this show, ladies and gentlemen. No one else is doing props on G Leaguers. You got it here on Court Cousins. In the past 3 games, we've had 5 G Leaguers in the Brooklyn game, 6 G Leaguers in the Atlanta game, and 6 G Leaguers in the Pelicans game getting minutes. So my proposition to you, sir, we're averaging 5.6 G League players, and we're defining that as anyone on a 2-way contract or a 10-day. I'm going to say over or under averaging 4.5 players, G League players, getting minutes per game. Do you think it's going to be over that in this next stretch of games or under
4.5? Man. Well, obviously, I think we'd all love to see it be under, even though I've enjoyed the play of the G Leaguers quite a bit. I've got to take the under here. I just feel like 4.5 is high, especially with some guys coming back from either injury or the safety protocol within that 6. I mean, if I take the over, I've only got a chance of them playing in all 6 games. So I've got to take the under here, just numbers wise. Makes sense.
I guess that does make sense. I don't know. We'll see. It's just such a weird time right now with the health and safety protocols, and also the ambiguity around the health and safety protocols. I don't really know exactly what it is, and I'm sure every case isn't the same. Like, how much longer are we going to be without RJ and, well, even Ignas? He would be counting as a G Leaguer in this stance, but Moritz, like all these guys that are on the health and safety protocols, how long are they going to be out? I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Lastly, the one I've got for you, we talked about it a little bit today off camera, and I think we're excited about it. Yeah. So I wanted to do one where we just do a stat stuffing challenge. We stuffed stockings earlier, and I just said, what the heck? Let's count all stats, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. But let's take 2 guys who don't really do the same thing. Let's not compare oranges and oranges. Let's go apples to oranges. So I say Wendell Carter Jr., just coming back from injury, as is Mr. Cole Anthony. Let's put them head to head. Choose your fighter.
I mean, say no more. Chosen. Say no more. He's on my shirt right now. He's on my shirt. It's got to be Cole Anthony. I don't know what your line of logic is on this. I was trying to push it to be 2 different players, maybe 2 scorers. I guess you like the angle where they kind of, like you said, they do different things. But I'm going to take Cole. He's averaging in the past 5 games, 21 points. He was averaging 6 assists, little over 6 assists, little over 5 rebounds. If that's not stuffing the stocking, I don't know what is, Pish. He's bringing the holiday cheer. on all these people. Yeah.
I know you want him to stuff your stocking. And
Okay.
you know
that
what?
came out wrong. Calm down over there.
But I feel like Wendell can put in a lot more in the blocks and the assists lately to keep up
definitely
with the assists and the rebounds that Cole gets. So obviously I think Cole's going to score more. But one thing you forgot about is in this list of games, we play against the Chicago Bulls. And who's really good against the Chicago Bulls? Wendell Carter Jr. Nobody gets up for the Bulls like him. So I say he's going to probably have a couple of good games in this stretch. Also, if Giannis remains out for the Bucks, he'll be going head to head with Cousins, and I like that matchup. Like I see some things for Wendell in here where I feel like this is going to be interesting.
You know what? You kind of sold me on it. And now I wish we had a game against the Knicks so Cole could go off in this set of games because I do like your logic. Yeah, that was nifty of you there. I think I just walked into a trap. Anyways, we'll see if that trap is snared or not as we move forward into this next set of games. Hope you enjoy watching this next set. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to seeing your submissions for Magic the Card Gathering. And until next time, we'll see you in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Thanks for coming.